Namaste and welcome to On the Path with Yogi Krish. I have some very interesting questions from some followers asking me to talk about sex. Some of those questions are pretty good, fascinating. So here we are. Let's talk about them. The first question is, besides the physiological, why is sex considered so powerful? To understand this concept, let's try and understand our human body, and I'll answer this from a yogic perspective. Our body is made up of 5 sheets. What we see is just the physical body. This physical body comprises of our sexual organs, our 5 senses, the central nervous system that acts as a processor between us and this external environment. And besides this, of course, the physical body is made up of cells and molecules and atoms and genetic material, and each cell has its own memory and knows what it's supposed to do. The second layer of our body is the pranic energy. That's our energetic body. And this energetic body that we have has a certain feminine energy and a certain masculine energy. We call that the divine feminine and the divine masculine. A male need not have divine masculine energy. He might have predominantly divine feminine energy. And the same goes for a woman. A woman might have more divine masculine energy than divine feminine energy. The third part of our body is the emotional body. It comprises of all our thoughts and emotions and how we process them, how we feel. The fourth part of our body is the wisdom body, the intuitive body, the deep-seated memories that we have, our instincts that guide us. And the fifth layer of our body is what we call the bliss body, and that is where the soul resides. So when two individuals come together and have sex, or actually make love, then there is tremendous amount of energy and information that is exchanged between these 5 layers of bodies. And each interaction that we have at various levels leaves its own imprint. The experience that we are talking about is an extremely sacred experience where the divine masculine and the divine feminine energies come together. It's the source of all creation. So in a way, when we have sex, it's actually procreation. We are creating with the universe. And that's the most powerful creative force all around, because life in this earth or in this universe cannot exist without this creative energy. And it's an extremely potent and powerful form of energy. In today's time, a lot of things that we relate to sex is largely restricted to just a physical form of release, getting relief, or simply for pleasure. The reality is that coming together in a sexual union is an extremely sacred bond. And sex forms only a small part of the overall experience of love, union, happiness, togetherness, coming together of the divine masculine and the divine feminine. And until and unless that bond and that experience of the higher self involves the mind, the body, the spirit, the soul, this experience is only restricted to a pleasure that lasts for a few minutes. So whenever we actually talk about sexual union between partners, it goes beyond pleasure. The pleasure is only a small part of it, and it's important. The difference between humans and other animals is that other animals are driven by their base instincts. When it's season, their hormones force them to have sex. There's no conscious thought that goes behind it. There's no awareness of a higher experience. But as humans, if we go into that area just like animals and experience this as a form of temporary pleasure, then we completely ignore the higher dimensions that are associated with this experience. And those experiences increase our awareness, increase our conscious being, and hence it's considered extremely sacred. The second question was about how we have multiple sexual partners in contemporary times. Many people marry more than once, twice, thrice. And they move on from one relationship to another without really healing. And how does that healing happen? Great question again. We must understand that when we talk of this sexual union and this experience, as I've explained earlier, that various elements in our body actually come together. If it's a powerful bond, then cords are formed, energetic cords between two individuals are formed. These cords are invisible, but these cords essentially are powerful. There's telepathic connection that is established. There's energetic connection that is established. There's karmic connection that is established. And our body has layers and layers of memory. And each experience that we have with a partner leaves us with imprints of those memories. So when we have sex with multiple partners, we generate enormous memory. We generate these emotional, energetic cords. We establish karmic connections, and if the experience is not good, then those karma needs to be balanced. And hence, it's always said that the sexual union between partners should not be multiple, because then you generate all this data that gets processed and stored within your body. It creates conflicts. It creates confusion. And it creates disharmony. In a lot of religions, sex is considered a sin. It is not. It's something that we are born with, and nature has endowed us with it. But what is correct to say would be that this experience should not be used randomly. It's something very, very sacred and something which is very, very divine. And it is, if it is kept so, then very high degrees of awareness, high degrees of pleasure, and high degree of conscious experiences can be had with a partner. And when we have these multiple experiences, then how do we heal? Because all this memory that gets generated needs to be balanced out, needs to be stabilized. Lessons need to be learned. The mind, the body, and the spirit needs to consciously process that information, accept it, heal from it by letting go. And that takes time. That draws enormous amount of energy from within you. But it's essential that as conscious individuals, we heal and take our time and not just jump from one relationship to another, because then we are simply staring at disaster. Whether we like it or not, all that karma that's get created will need to be balanced out eventually. The third question, again a very interesting one, is why is female virginity considered a measure of purity, and why not male virginity? There are two aspects to it. The first aspect is we must understand that we have lived for centuries in a largely patriarchal society. Earlier, there were no paternity tests to establish if a child belongs to someone. And hence, virginity was a sure way of establishing paternity. But besides this, we must understand two things. One, a woman is generally considered more pure. Why? Because she cleanses her body every month. The menstruation cycle is in a way detoxification. That does not happen in a male. Many religions considered menstruating women extremely sacred, divine itself. We call that Shakti. And that is why menstruating blood is also considered extremely pure in various forms of religion. And a lot of that is spoken to be used in occult practices. And one of the reasons for that is that the blood at that point of time is considered pure. But let's come back to virginity. As I said, in a virgin, the imprints of memory of previous partners do not exist. And the same goes for men. Let's not differentiate between male and female virginity. It's true for both. Now, when these memories are less, or those imprints do not exist, then the experience between two individuals is far more powerful. There's less interference, so to say. Also, virginity ensures or supposes that the partners did not have any form of infection or sexually transmitted diseases, and that the blood itself was free from these imperfections. And that is why blood of virgins is considered very, very important, and people were ready to pay a higher dowry or premium or attach a certain significance to it. And the same goes for men, but in men it's difficult to establish this virginity. So in a lot of human sacrifices in the olden times, young boys were used because they were considered virgin males and virgin sacrifices, save for women. And last but not the least, the last question that was asked is, nowadays in an online world that we live in, where photographs and pictures of individuals are there on various online platforms, including nude ones, how does one protect one's energy from intrusive energy sources from other sides? The person that's viewing. Again, a great question. The best form of protection is to energize yourself and keep yourself and your aura pure, protected, and sacred. There's no other way to do this. Those energetic intrusions from viewers of your photographs will continue. There's no way that you can stop it. So the best form of protection is to power your own pranic energy and your own body, make it more vital, make it more powerful. Let your aura be so strong and so powerful through practices of meditation and yoga and other forms of exercises that there's no negative energies that come within a certain distance from you. I hope I have been able to answer your questions. If you have enjoyed this video, do like, subscribe, share. If you have any other questions, please feel free to ask me. And do leave your comments if you have enjoyed this video. Thank you so much. Namaste and bye-bye.